Ashley's son Andrew passed away on December 23rd after a brief illness. Visitation will be tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m. at Rosemeads in Bossier. Funeral Saturday at 10 a.m. Cypress Baptist Church. Andrew was a 2015 graduate of Airline High School and served in the United States Marine Corps. Emily Sinagra, the daughter of teacher Heather Sinagra, is undergoing treatment for leukemia at St. Jude at this time. Kathy Ivy, Apollo teacher, is being treated for cancer. She received her first dose of radiation. Next dose is in February. Also, Coach Bo Meeks at Airline High School, the head football coach, is still undergoing cancer treatment. David Montgomery Sr., the former president of the Bossier Parish School Board. Funeral is tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. at St. Jude's. And then, as always, please keep those people that have had COVID issues in their family and all throughout the school system in your prayers.
Please bow your heads. Dear Father, thank you first of all for another day of life, health, and strength. Please visit those that are weak and put your arms of reassurance around them that everything will be all right. You'll see them again in the morning. All those that are sick and afflicted, send your angel of healing. Bless them. Take care of them. Heal them in thy Son Jesus' name right now. Lord, please take care of all that are here tonight and all that cannot be here. Please take care of the board. Let us make the right, correct decisions. Take care of our state and have mercy on our country during these times of turmoil. Bless us, keep us, and not wait in thy sight. In thy Son Jesus' name. Bless us tonight. Bless us forever. In thy Son Jesus' name. Amen.
You join me in praying.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1.02, approval of the minutes of the regular session of the board, December 10th, 2020. Motion by Mr. Cheatham, second by Mr. Bachhaus. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Item 1.03, approval of the agenda for the regular session of the board for January 7th, 2021. Motion by Mr. Bass. Second by Mr. Brotherton. Please vote. Motion is unanimous. It carries. Item 3.01, consider election of president of the Bossier Parish School Board for 2021. I think I've spoken to all the board members except Ms. Darby. I didn't make my trip up to the balcony. Ms. Darby, are you interested in running for either vice president or president of the board? Okay. Is anybody else that did not sign up that's interested? Okay, hearing none. The president, do we have to go through a vote for that? We still need to go through the vote?
Yes, I
Can we do it by hand raise or we use all the sheets?
I think we can do it by hand raise.
Okay. So Tammy Smith is the only, and if you don't get all the votes in this, Ms. Smith. Has any board member ever? Oh, Mr. Cheatham did get all the votes. That's right. Never mind, you're beyond. Mrs. Smith is the only one on the list for the office of president. So at this point, I will ask for a vote on your machines. I guess whatever you want to call them. So please vote. Hold on. She made it. How did you do that? Ms. Smith will be our president for 2021. Item 3.02, consider election of the vice president of the Bossier Parish School Board for 2021. We also have one person that has signed up interested in vice president is member Adam Bass. So once again, we will vote, so please vote now. I knew he couldn't get them all. Thank you, Mr. Cheatham. Not that I'm going to go on. It's not unanimous, Mr. Bass, but you will serve as our vice president for 2021. So congratulations to you two. Item 3.03 is our passing of the gavel. We will go on a different little deal here, but so we'll start. I have a few words, and then we will. Mr. Downey, give me a gift or like that for you. So I don't know if that's check.
He has to.
Huh?
He has to.
All right. First of all, I'd like to introduce my family is here. I've got some of my family members. My wife, Lauren Bamberg, who is a teacher in our system. My daughter, Olivia, is here. And my other daughter, Victoria, decided to go hang out with her friends from Ole Miss. So we're going to miss her tonight. She thought that'd be a little bit more fun. So can't say I disagree with her. But anyway, first and foremost, I would like to thank God for giving me the opportunity to serve this parish as president of the Bossier Parish School Board for the year 2020. I would also like to thank my fellow board members for serving this great parish as well. Mr. Cheatham and Ms. Brotherton probably will remember me giving them a bit of a hard time before I became president. They had both led this board with courage and wisdom through some very trying times in their presidency. I believe I might have told them that we were going to have a smooth year in 2020 and that the rough times are behind us. In jest, I told them I was going to show them how to navigate a full year of success. I was handed the gavel on January 9th, 2020 in the evening, and I made it to 6 a.m. January 11th before I got my first call from Superintendent Downey saying that the roof had just blown off Pitt Middle School. Needless to say, 2020 had started. Before looking back at 2020, I'd like to speak to each person that sits on this board with me. I want to thank you. Thank you for always being respectful. We sometimes don't agree on every issue, but we've always debated in a kind and courteous manner that is not happening in many governmental bodies. Thank you for having your hearts in the right place. I honestly believe that every member on this board has convictions to do what's best for this parish and the system. Thank you for bearing with me as we struggle through meetings over Zoom calls due to the pandemic. Y'all remember trying to vote, our first vote, trying to call everybody out by name, so that was interesting times. Thank you for staying engaged during a time where schools were closed during 2020. It has truly been an honor to serve with each of you. Okay, let's talk 2020. Instead of talking about this year as a negative, I'd like to focus on all the positive things that happened during the last year. As a board, our number one job is the budget control, and we were able to close 2019-2020 fiscal year in the black. We're also trending to do the same in 2021. This board has been hyper-focused on the budget for the last couple of years. This body went line through line by line through the budget with our employees in mind. We have looked at our expenditures and tackled some issues like Medicare Advantage this year. We received many calls about that looking into the issues from our retirees. Many of us felt like we needed to look at this issue because of the savings it could mean to the system. But ultimately, after much deliberation, we decided with our retirees and made the right decision to not move forward with this plan. In 2020, we were able to put some money back in the pockets of the people on our plan from a refund for our medical and dental plans. In 2020, Mr. Downey, Mr. Rowland, and Dr. Bourgeois and our entire central office staff put together and implemented the 2020 Strong Start Plan. I'd like to thank each of you for your hard work in rolling that out during these unprecedented times. I felt like I was speaking with Mr. Rowland hourly with all the changes that were coming down from the many three-letter deals, the LDH, the OPH, the LDOE, the governor's office. I believe that many other parishes threw up their hands and waited to see what Bossier was going to do during this time. Bossier was able to get that document finalized and implemented in a very short period of time. Our central office overachieved during 2020. Our educators rose to the occasion during the time that our students were not in school. They were asked to go over and above their duties and do the best they could to prepare and get supplies and educational materials for our students. They truly overachieved with the amount of notice that was given to them to implement this. Truly a time when our staff showed that they were Bossier strong. They were asked again to step up when returned on an AV schedule. Educating children every other day and trying to keep up with the children at home was truly a tough thing to accomplish. During this time, our employees rose to the occasion each and every time we asked them to make changes that were required of them. During this time, many were rightfully overwhelmed and frustrated. Although this was the case, they persevered for the greater good. Our educational staff overachieved in 2020. Our transportation team also stepped up. They somehow figured out how to get children to and from school while only being able to use 50% capacity on the buses. Our transportation staff, our drivers, and our aides overachieved in 2020. Our food service personnel stepped up during this time as well. Families that count on meals from the Bossier Parish School for their families were able to pick up food from our school sites. I would also like to thank the churches from around this area that helped us to distribute the food. Our food service overachieved in 2020, and our community of churches and volunteers overachieved in 2020. Our administrators did an awesome job of leading their staff during this time of change. They were asked to implement all these requirements in each of their schools. Our administrators overachieved in 2020. So I guess what I'm saying is that I feel 2020, with all the distractions and issues, gave our employees the time to shine and show that they're Bossier strong. In closing, I would like to thank my prayer warrior. It's pretty good. I don't know if y'all remember when I was elected president, I got a letter in the mail. And now hangs on the wall of the office. I don't have a name on the prayer. It didn't have a name. Only a prayer with me as I began serving as president. The person wrote a prayer over the board, our superintendent, and specifically for my presidency. Because it had such an impact on me that someone would do that, I read it aloud as I was seated as president. My wife recently gave me an envelope after checking the mail that also didn't have a return address on it. As I opened it, I realized that it was a letter and a prayer from this person who was unknown to me and dated 12/31/2020. Whoever you are, know that I appreciate it and I'm humbled that someone prayed over me during this time. So if I can get through it, I'm going to try to read that letter. Good gracious. Small print, so I'm going to kind of, we'll try to see how this goes. Okay, my glasses on. As I sit down to write you, I cannot even begin to thank you for all you've done for Bossier Parish School Board. Your year as president has been one of great challenges that will hopefully never be matched again. The difficulties that you will present to the school system required a God-fearing man to lead the board in the way that required divine wisdom to navigate the trials. I've watched you through storms, both wind and hail, not to be outdone by the hurricane. I've watched you work through COVID, the global pandemic that has changed the world. I've watched you lead, trusting in the prayers offered up would be on full display. I committed to you for praying for you daily for 365 days. Your name was called out and written down in hope of godly wisdom permeating your mind. The Bible tells us that God will be with us. That promise has been kept in every facet of your journey. With that, I will close my final prayer for you in 2020. Says, Father, I want to thank you for Dennis Vandenberg. Thank you for guiding him, for blessing him, and for favoring him and his family. Thank you for the wisdom, the knowledge, and the faith to apply these. Thank you for your presence in our journey. I praise the holy name of Jesus Christ for how you have blessed us. I pray that you continue to pour out your goodness and grace on Dennis and the Bossier Parish school system. I will continue to call upon your hand to lead us through 2021. Through the trials you have never been more needed or desired. For this I pray you are made manifest to all who seek your name. Now to him is able to provide, him who is able to provide more abundantly than we can ask or think. I pray this thing in Jesus Christ's name, amen. God bless you. Lift it up. And so now we'll go to the passing of the gavel. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm missing something. Forget my gift. Most important part.
Yeah, I got the keys to it.
Well, President Bamberg, it's been an honor to serve with you. We all know that 2020 has been a very difficult challenge. We couldn't have been blessed with a person that was any steadier, calmer, more deliberate, more thoughtful, more consistent about the challenges that we faced. A lot of times, we ask our leaders to be the calm in the storm, and Dennis has definitely been that all year. We're very grateful for your wisdom and your guidance, and wish you all the best, you and your family. Thank you very much.
So now I get to give a gift. So this is the gavel, and I'm going to be turning this over to Ms. Smith tonight, and then she'll have some remarks as well.
Thank you to the board. And first I'd like to introduce my family that's here. There's a lot of them, so y'all have to bear with me. I'll not got their names right. We'll start with my husband, Scott, and my oldest child, Sierra, and my grandbaby, Mabry, which y'all all pray for, and I appreciate that. My son, Spencer, and his wife, Bobby, and my other grandson, Weston. And then my two nieces from Nashville, Tennessee, Karis and Kaylee. And then my son, Sawyer. And then behind him is Sydney and his fiancee, Hannah, and her parents, Andrea and Barry Barton. And I appreciate each of y'all being here. I know that you supported me for a long time on the board, and thank you to each of you. And then also, I'd like to give Adam the opportunity to introduce his family.
One of the biggest mistakes I've ever made is when I got this position, I did not. So I want to correct that by saying the love of my life since the 5th grade, Ms. Pretty Bass, is here to help support me. She's always behind me, and I just want to thank her. And I love you very much, and I appreciate all the support you've given me. I don't have 75 people here tonight. Just to recognize my wife. I appreciate it.
Okay. Remember as a child thinking how futuristic 2020 seemed? Artificial intelligence, smart homes, driverless cars, and so forth? Little did we know that 2020 would actually bring us back to the basics. The busy tasks that filled our days suddenly came to an abrupt halt. Schools, businesses, restaurants, and churches closed, leaving everyone with time to reflect. During COVID quarantine, we began to realize what is truly essential: faith, family, and health. Without a doubt, 2020 was certainly full of twists and turns, yet the resilience and agility demonstrated are inspiring. Our community and school employees have supported one another in the face of great uncertainty and challenges. As we turn the calendar and our focus to 2021, let us pause and express our gratitude. First, for our administration and employees, courage. Courage to carry on in the face of great adversity and to navigate uncharted waters. Our district, with the help of state organizations, has been a leader in setting an example for other school districts to follow. Your courage has fueled our passion to engage, educate, and empower students under circumstances we never envisioned. Next, for your collaboration. Each of you came together to seek new ways to provide an education for the children of Bossier Parish. Many stepped out of their comfort zone to tackle virtual learning, work remotely from home, and participate in Zoom conferences. Our employees worked countless hours to ensure each child had the opportunity to succeed. Finally, for your confidence, parents in the community entrusted this district to put together a plan to keep their children safe and provide an education during this pandemic. Although the plan changed due to ever-changing circumstances and restrictions, the residents of Bossier Parish met the challenge. Thank you to President Bamberg for his leadership during 2020. You can definitely say you have a year like no other, full of challenges, but yet you managed to do it with less meetings. Thank you to Superintendent Downey and your staff for the countless hours spent on Zoom conferences, phone calls, and staff meetings. None of us were prepared for the social or economic impact of coronavirus, but you guided us through those difficult decisions, resulting in a successful 2020, including a balanced budget. No doubt, 2021 will be filled with many surprises as well. We remain mired in a pandemic. What you can be assured of is that this board and administration will continue to work diligently to positively prepare students, protect students and staff's health to the best of our ability, and to be prudent with taxpayer dollars. Thank you to this board for entrusting me to fulfill the duties of president and Mr. Bass as vice president. I know through our courage, collaboration, and confidence with each other and administration, we will continue to be the leader in education. Thank you. Item 3.04, sale of property at 4900 Benton Road, presented by Chief Norwood, Supervisor of Planning and Construction.
Thank you. Board members, Mr. Downey and Ms. Smith, I sent this information out and it's been posted on Viewpoint. We've had an offer that is very close to the listing price for approximately 15.8 acres at 4900 Benton Road. I sent this out last month just to give you advance notice, and I got all favorable comments on it. So Mr. Downey has signed the preliminary agreement, and the next step is a resolution. Then after that, we'll sit down with the buyer's representatives and work out the final dimensions of the property. If you have any questions that I haven't put in the information, I'll be glad to answer at this time.
So moved.
Does anybody have any questions? Do I need to read this resolution?
I don't think so. It will be in the record.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Cheatham and a second by Mr. Newman. All right, those in favor, please vote. Sorry, we don't do that anymore. Sorry.
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Norwood. 3.05, request approval of trip request.
Madam President, these are in order.
So moved. We have a motion by Ms. Brotherton. Second by Mr. Bullard. Please vote. Passes unanimously. 4.01, announcements and superintendent's comments.
Thank you, President Smith. Schools and centers will be closed for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday on January 18th. The next regular session of the Bossier Parish School Board will be held January 21st at 6 p.m. here at the Big. That concludes my
he's back as well. We got good, our council is very fortified, our board. We're so happy, guys. Thank you.
Yes, we're glad you're back, Mr. Holder. We're glad you're doing well. Okay, 5.01, adjournment of the regular session. Adjournment. Yes, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Scott, Mr. Butcher, Mr. Holder, seconded, please vote.